Magandang araw po sa lahat.
Well,
Jackie po ng
ang
Splat
general sentiment
Communications.
namin dito sa
Ang
Senado
video
is
po
to wait
natin
for the
ngayon ay
final
ukol
version
sa
of the
paliwanag
House.
ni Senate
Kaya
President
walang pa
Juan
nagpa-file
Miguel
dito,
Zubiri
di
ukol
namin
sa Maharlika
minabadali
Investment
ito.
Fund.
Medyo matagal na usapin to at pag-aralan namin ito ng mabuti. I've already spoken to the President about it 2 Sundays ago. Not this Sunday, but the Sunday prior. Well, ang general sentiment namin dito sa Senado is to wait for the final version of the House. Kaya walang pa nagpa-file dito, di namin minabadali ito. Medyo matagal na usapin to at pag-aralan namin ito ng mabuti. I've already spoken to the President about it 2 Sundays ago. Not this Sunday, but the Sunday prior. And kasama ko si Speaker Martin. I even mentioned to him na, Mr. President, malaking friction sa amin yung pagpasok ng pension funds, which is the SSS and GSIS, sa aming members sa Senado. And I think because of that, the week after, the House contingent, because Speaker Romualdez was there, the House contingent removed the SSS and the GSIS from their version of the Maharlika Fund. Meaning, wala nang pension funds na gagamitin dito sa fund na ito. It's a step on the right direction. So it's a step on the right direction. But nevertheless, we want to see the safeguards. We want to see if COA can actually access the reports para at least meron tayong transparency, because it's even if it comes from GOCCs, pero pa rin ng taong bayan yan under the GOCC Act. So, kailangan dumaan pa rin yan ng COA. So, we'll see. I already tasked Senator Angara, who's head of the Finance Committee, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, who's head of Ways and Means. I already asked Senator Mark Villar, who's head of the Banks, Committee on Banks, as well as even Alan Cayetano, because Senator Alan Cayetano is chairman of the GOCC's committee, handling GOCCs. Kasi galing doon yung pondo eh.
Is the President really interested in this? Is he really asking for this?
Well, there are certain assets that the President wants to invest in that may deem national security matters. For example, just an example. For example, national grid, di ba? If it is right now being run by Chinese, na hindi naman tayo makapasok daw, lahat ng instrumento naka-Chinese, hindi naman natin alam, kung magkaroon tayo ng problema sa China, one switch off lang, at wala na tayong kuryente sa buong Pilipinas. So, I mean, it makes sense if we renationalize, for example, the state grid. That's my opinion. No? My opinion, no one else's opinion. I heard Congressman Joey Salceda say it also in many interviews. The distribution, or basically the grid component of the energy program of our country. So things like that, I think that's worth looking at. And it's a economically viable business. Hindi matatalo yung gobyerno dyan kasi monopoly yung grid eh. That's a monopoly. Diba? Natural monopoly. But at least it's safe. It's within Filipino hands. So, I mean, investments like that, I think, are safe to say where Maharlika funds can actually be utilized.
Was there a categorical statement from the President that he wants Congress to come up with this law?
No, he wants us to seriously take in consideration on the Maharlika Wealth Fund. Ang sabi ko naman kay Presidente, Mr. President, medyo alam mo naman, mas matagal talaga sa amin. Dahil we go through it like a fine-tooth comb. We will look at the House version, and of course, possibly add amendments to assuage the worries of our kababayans na magkaroon ng leakage, corruption. Let me reiterate, there's about 60 countries around the world, and almost all our ASEAN neighbors have the same similar setup of a wealth fund. Maraming ang nagsasabi na baka in surplus yung mga bansa na ito, pero tinignan ko naman, all of them have slow growth rates. Many of them are in recession because of the global economy slowing down because of the pandemic. And yet they still continue to have the wealth fund investing their excess funds, excess money.
The President's response.
Okay naman. Naintindihan naman niya kasi senador siya dati. He knows. Sabi ko sa kanya, Mr. President, alam mo naman dito, yung debate hindi sa committee, yung debate na sa plenaryo.
Wala siyang sinabi, sir, na medyo hasten the process.
No naman. In fairness to the President, he never instructed me to hasten the proceedings on this issue. Ang sabi ko lang, pangako ko lang sa kanya, magkaka-caucus kami na hindi pa nangyari. We're trying to come up with a time. Wala kaming time to have a caucus and we'll discuss it there. But initially, with my talks with my colleagues, yung pagtanggal ng SSS and GSIS is a step to the right direction.
Matindi yung risk. Kasi yung situation na natin, di ba ang concept na dapat kung may surplus fund ka?
Well, yung pera naman ng DBP, for example, yung pera ng DBP and Land Bank, no? Nakatenga lang yun. That's in the bank's accounts, not being utilized. They also don't have the power to reinvest it elsewhere. Under the charter, tago lang yan, nandun lang yun. So, you can get a portion of Land Bank's stored wealth together with DBP and utilize that for investment purposes for the benefit of the government.
Sir, may binigay po ba si Presidente na
Nakalimutan natin, budget deficit.
Oh, I'll give you an example. Lagyan natin yung wealth fund. I know I'll be hit for this, but I'm just giving it my personal example. What if the wealth fund decides to buy Petron back? And then they'll run Petron, but discounted. Walang markup. The people can buy the fuel without markup. So mas mura. O di mas maganda yun para sa tricycle drivers natin, jeepney drivers, bus drivers, di ba? They can get discounted rates from there. Kasi G2G na yan. The government of the Philippines, let's say for example, and this is an example, will own Petron. They will now discuss it with Singapore government. And Singapore is the largest trading country when it comes to oil in the region. And they call it POPs, ba yan? MOPS, MOPS. So they can get it there. Wala nang, alam mo, pag binenta kasi ng private sector yan, may patong na 5 to 10 pesos yan. Maniwala ba kayo? Hindi. I know because I have friends that own white stations. Ang lalaki ng kita nila sa white station. Tanggalin yun para direct selling na sa ating mga kababayan. And konti lang service fee na lang ibabayad natin per liter para kumita naman yung Maharlika Wealth Fund. Diba? These are issues, these are possible utilizations of the wealth fund that can help benefit the people directly. So,
may binanggit po kasi si Presidente kung isa-certify na urgent yung pag-usap.
hindi pa tapos sa House eh. Hindi rin pa tapos ang House yung wealth fund.
But during your conversation with the President,
Eventually, they'll probably come out with a certification. But sabi ko nga na wag na natin madaliin to. Kailangan natin pag-usapan na maayos. You cannot an issue like the Maharlika Wealth Fund should be studied carefully. It should be vetted out carefully. We have to make sure the safeguards are in place. So there's no question on trust issues. Kasi may katanungan ng trust eh. There's trust issues. Anong mangyari sa pera? Sino mag-hawak ng pera? I believe the House also removed the President na as the chairman of the board. Let's fill it up with members of the Management Association of the Philippines. Put economic geniuses there as head of the Wealth Fund. Marami naman eh. As a matter of fact, they're eyeing even Ayala. There was even a name of an Ayala executive that's head of their foreign investment portfolio of Ayala to head the Wealth Fund. Pagka ganun, I think that will assuage again the worries of a lot of our economists, no, na mawawala at masasayang yung pera.
Tunay ngang napakaliwanag at napakalinaw ng mga sinabi ni Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri ukol sa maraming pwedeng benepisyo ng pagkakaroon ng Maharlika Investment Fund. Ngunit dadaan ito sa masusing pagbubusisi ng Senado upang matiyak ang pagiging ligtas nito. Unang example niyang sinabi ay ang paggawa ng sarili nating power grid. Sa ngayon, Korporasyong Inchik ang nagpapatakbo ng ating national grid At kung sakaling magkaroon tayo ng hindi pagkakaunawaan sa China, isang switch lang, wala ng kuryente ang buong Pilipinas. Ikalawang napakagandang ehemplo ay ang pagbili ulit ng Petron upang makapagbenta ng gasolina sa mga mamamayan na walang patong na malaking tubo. Kanyang tunay na nauunawaan ang kagandahang maidudulot ng pagkakaroon ng Maharlika Investment Fund. Ang isa pang magandang kanyang binanggit ay hindi siya sinabihan ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. na madaliin ito sa Senado. Patunay na alam ni Pangulong Marcos at nirerespeto niya ang proseso at pagiging independent ng Senado as a co-equal branch ng gobyerno. Maraming salamat sa napakagandang paliwanag, Senate President Zubiri. Mabuhay po kayo. Pakitala po ang inyong opinyon at saloobin o suhestyon sa comment portion. Sa ngalan
Well,
ng aking
what
mga
can you say?
partners sa Splat Communications,
Kindly share your
maraming
thoughts
salamat
in the
po.
comment portion.
Hanggang sa ulitin.
We have reached the end
Stay
of today's video.
Jackie out.
In behalf of my partner
Bye.
Rina and the rest of the Splat Communications and Simplified Strategic Solutions team, thank you. Till next time. Stay safe. Rosa out. Bye.